What's up guys, and welcome to a Warcraft replay here on the Netease ladder. We have an undead versus orc matchup. Yeah, we've been getting a lot of non-human mirrors for some reason. Maybe I should go out of my way to find some next time, but yeah, we are going to be having Infi off racing once again. Oopsies, that Plays TV should not be on. Oopsies. But yeah, Infi off racing as undead here on the bottom right, and we have FoCuS winning in as the blue orc in the top left. The map is on Dalaran. I still haven't really solidified my opinion on this map. It's kind of like a mini Lost Temple, I think. Even though this is 2-player only. Yeah, the middle just gives me a Lost Temple vibes for some reason. Even though I guess there's a tavern missing, instead it is a fountain of health. Just the placement on these creeps is just kind of like Lost Temple. Kinda, maybe, I don't know. But either way, this is the first video on the channel for 2018. I'm not sure if I'm ever gonna do too much this year. I've only uploaded I think 100 videos exact last year, so it was a little less active compared to previous years, but then again, like, I'm only doing this as a hobby, and yeah, with uni still going on, still got a couple of years, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. Death Knight first for Infi. He seems to be going mass ghouls, it seems, as the graveyard has yet to be placed down, and we are not seeing anything deviating here. So mass ghouls against an orc. Normally we do see the TED openings for these kind of things, but in this case Infi is going for a much more aggressive playstyle early on, maybe looking for some surrounds with the Death Knight. We'll see. For now, both players are just starting out the creep camps. Blade Master is just going to be sniping out those item camps as he picks up Cloak. Not too useful right now, but he is going to engage against the undead for now. Windwalk Strike making quick work out of that ghoul, but Death Coils will be able to keep him pretty healthy. He still has about 1 or 2 Death Coils left in him. Blade Master is struggling to get around those units to go after that ghoul. Another Death Coil should be able to top him up right now. And well, seems like the Death Knight is a little bit struggling on mana. He will have to I guess just let that ghoul go, as the Blade Master looking for a critical strike there, and it seems like the ghoul will be able to be taken down by the Blade Master. Meanwhile, Infi just clearing out the camp leftovers. Lots of skeletons on the field.
Work complete.
But no real solid opportunities for a surround. Just gonna continue creeping. The Blade Master with very little mana left, it's kind of hard to go for any creep jacks. All it can do is just pressure these low hit point units. Item is going to be +3 strength, picked up by the Death Knight. Seems like the Blade Master was able to pick up 1 creep jack, and for now it seems like that will be his last, as a whole bunch of ghouls actually come in to join the fray. And yeah, probably shouldn't stick around, as the Blade Master is now below half health. He still doesn't have his salves just yet. He did he actually didn't go back and sell his TP scrolls, so so he couldn't pick up those salves. He was able to pick up that item, which is going to be a +3 strength of his own. And yeah, he should be able to pick up his salves now. Tier 2 is about done for FoCuS. Meanwhile, Infi, seems like mass ghouls did seem to delay his tech a little bit, halfway to tier 2, as well as graveyard placed down. Infi looking to clear out most of the camps here. I think only ones left are this one and the leftovers of this, so yeah. So far looking good in terms of levels for the Death Knight, about level 2 and about 40% there. Panda pickup as the second hero for FoCuS. I guess a good solid pick against mass ghouls, as well as a couple of those crypt beans. But once it comes down to destroyers, it will proved to be a bit of a mixed bag, I guess, but since the tech was delayed quite a bit for Infi, I guess the Panda is going to be staying relevant for quite a long time. Looking for a potential surround, and it seems like it will actually happen. Unfortunately, a lot of those guys are skeletons, so they will be able to be destroyed very quickly as the Breath of Fire is going to dismantle that wall. And yeah, Infi probably doesn't want to pick this fight. 3 ghouls versus 3 grunts. The grunts will definitely win this. And yep, just going to retreat, only losing his skeletons for now. I'm actually surprised that this creep camp is being pulled by FoCuS, even though his opponent is right there, and it is a relatively difficult camp to do. Is just gonna pull out right now. Speed scroll being used, possibly to maybe snipe that Death Knight. But yeah, without any windwalk, no guaranteed crit strikes there. It is going to be rather difficult to take down the Death Knight, who is at level 2 with Unholy Aura. He also has the UV scroll if he needs it. And yeah, Infi's just going to hijack this creep camp, picking up the Greater Healing Potion. So an excellent item being dropped there for the DK, able to negate the burst damage coming in from the Orc units here. And that should be the last of the camps. Nope, leftover is still over here, but I guess it's just not worth doing these guys. Infi's still clearing out this camp. We'll be able to hit level 3 very soon. I do hear double bestiaries into wyverns here, so double wind riders are going to be really devastating against those ghouls. But it should be time for those crypt fiends to be out by now. So far I don't see any, which is a bit of a problem for Infi as he's still on his ghouls. Nothing to really deal with those wind riders just yet. We do see a gargoyle in the air, but one gargoyle versus double wind riders is rather difficult, but it seems like the gargoyle, in addition to the death coil, is able to pick up 1 wind rider. Lich is most likely frost armor first, even though he doesn't have that many good targets to hit with that, except for himself, I guess. But I think he actually frost novaed, so no frost armor first. It is going to be frost nova to just do even more burst damage to those wind riders there. Infi is not looking in a good place. I completely forgot that this was a thing. So yeah, I guess go to population right now as yikes. FoCuS is actually already at 50. Meanwhile, Infi is stuck at 34 with only mass ghouls. Is able to pick up those wind riders with easy death coils there. So surprisingly enough, FoCuS actually losing a lot of his wind riders to Death Knight by himself, which is not something that should be happening.
We're under attack.
But yeah, crypt fiends should be popping out now. Auto webs would be rather helpful as well. We're still going for statues here for Infi, which, I mean, solid pick, I guess, but I'm not sure if single crypt fiends are going to be enough to deal with raiders slash wind riders here. Blade Master level 2, Panda is also at level 2, so the Orc heroes are sharing level experience, which could be a problem because it's going to take a while for the Panda to hit its power spike before destroyers start popping into the game. Sackbit being placed down, just mandatory, I guess, to keep track of that Blade Master. It seems like Panda is finally able to get some solo experience here. Meanwhile, the Blade Master is going to hopefully run around, maybe pick up some opportunity kills, maybe. Base looks really tough to get into. I don't think the Blade Master can even fit through to go for the gold mine, so yeah, it's a really bad position for FoCuS if he wants to make some Blade Master plays right now. And Bandit Lord camp is being started. It is gonna take a while because of that Divine Shield, but it is gonna wear out right now, and there should be a mass focus fire on this Bandit Lord. This item is going to be really crucial but it seems like FoCuS is having other plans as he brings his entire flock of wyverns here. That was a devastating Breath of Fire, able to do a lot of damage to those ghouls. Lionheart the Stormwind is going to be picked up by the Lich, and he is going to run away with it as the Orc player is not really getting any retaliation. So yeah, basically just a hit and run kind of thing, going after the creep camp and then immediately running away, as it's really difficult to fight back against that kind of army with only one Crypt Fiend and all these ghouls. Destroy form is going to be completed. I'm not sure entirely on the matchup between Wind Riders and Destroyers. Maybe if Destroyers do have their full mana bar, maybe they might be able to hold their own against Wind Riders, but I honestly don't see that happening. Bandalore camp on the top is being attempted by FoCuS, who is still sticking at 50 supply here. Meanwhile, Infi is surprisingly still at 40. Is not going to go for the Bandalore camp, instead going for the Rock Golem camp on the top right. Sobi Mask is going to be picked up by the Panda, a really good item for the Panda, especially going for a lot of those Breath of Fires maybe. Is going to hit a couple of those skeletons and ghouls there. But right now this is not a good fight for the undead player. He is going to lose his Crypt Fiend. Destroyer is going to fly into the air there. Oh, Lich taking a huge amount of damage, especially from that Breath of Fire, is going to be forced to do invuln up, as Death Coil will be able to heal him right back to full. However, the DK is now out of mana, so it is rather risky to stick around. It seems like Death Coil actually missed the kill on the Wind Rider. I think he was meaning to go after the red hit point one instead of the yellow one, so yeah, a bit of a misclick there, but then again it was so high speed that you can't really blame him for missing that one. Pin of Energy is going to be picked up. Again, great item for the Panda. But right now the Panda needs to stay alive, is going to use that TP scroll. I don't actually know if the Death Coil was aimed at the Panda or not, but regardless, the Orc player will be able to retreat with very minimal losses there. And yeah, for now, it seems like FoCuS is in a really good position. He hasn't really had the need to spend his resources replacing units because he hasn't really lost that many units compared to his opponent. Is nearly done with tier 3 as well, so yeah, if he's still going on with this Wind Rider train, he can go for Envenom Spears. He can also maybe go into low upkeep and maybe add some Kodos into his army mix. We will wait and see. Top left, Dark Wizard camp is going to be attempted here by the undead player. I mean, right now he hasn't been rewarded very well with his item drops, and honestly he could use this one. Devotion Aura, as you saw, is sold, so I mean, yeah, he was not pleased with his Bandit Lord drop there. Another Pendant of Mana going over to the undead side. Again, useful item for either of these two heroes here, but not really the item to turn around this particular situation. 4.5 levels for the Death Knight. Meanwhile, the Lich is at level 3. Yeah, at level 3. Could have a Zeppelin drop here, but oh, with so few units, can he actually find any good windows? It seems like he might be able to get this window right now, as FoCuS is not at his base, and oh, actually gonna drop down a Great Hall and possibly go after a counterattack here. Does not look like it. Oh, actually no, it does look like it, as battle stations for those peons there, but yeah, Orb of Annihilation on those destroyers is able to make quick work out of those burrows. FoCuS has lost a lot of his burrows right now, but he is still at 50 supply max. TP scroll is going to be forced by the Death Knight, as Orc units do shred those buildings. Oh, able to actually take down one more Orc burrow, so that is now putting FoCuS upside down in supply. FoCuS is going to be forced to rebuild, and as you can see here on the resources, he is actually pretty strained on that one. But then again, he does have that that expansion on the bottom left, so he'll be able to quickly replenish. Breath of Fire was able to take down one of those shades, but we still have another one stuck on the Blade Master. Ensnare onto the Crypt Fiend, but it is going to take a while to burn through that guy down, especially with the Death Coil being tossed around. Raider in exchange for a Crypt Fiend, and TP Scroll is going to be burnt for the Orc player. So yeah, a little scary for FoCuS right now, as well, honestly, it's a lot of his supply is on those Wind Riders, and they are rather fragile, so he really needs a bigger army, I guess, to stand toe to toe with Infis, maybe. Either way, expansion is under fire as the destroyers make quick work out of those Orc burrows there. And here comes the defense. Breath of Fire able to do a decent amount of damage on those Crypt Fiends, as the Death Coil will be able to heal up once again. Wind Riders going straight after those destroyers, but they in return are getting quickly focused down, and especially with the armor reduction of that Lich's Orb of Corruption, it is definitely easier to take down those Wind Riders compared to destroyers there, so it's really difficult for FoCuS to actually get any kills down, as level 5 Death Knight is going to be achieved, and a very nice Death Coil there, once again giving a lot of health over to that Crypt Fiend, but Blade Master is not having any of that. Another Breath of Fire, not doing too much damage to that DK. And it seems like the siege is going to continue, or at least going after these peasants here. Lich at level 4. Yeah, it's like I said, really difficult for FoCuS to stay toe to toe with his opponent right now, especially with his army comp with no raiders, no Coda beasts either. Yeah. And honestly, it kind of has to be attributed to that early attack on the base for Infi. Going after those burrows pretty much prevented FoCuS from actually going into low upkeep and expanding his army even greater. As well, he is going to try go for a defense once again, but Wind Riders, who are literally half health compared to those destroyers there, are going to get quickly melted. Meanwhile, not even a single destroyer has been taken down just yet. It seems like this one might follow, but a Death Coil will be able to heal him up right away. Statue is going to be taken down by that Blade Master, who still has that Orb of Lightning available if he wants to go after the destroyers. But nope, doesn't seem like it's going to happen. Another statue is going to fall. Honestly, these statues are falling quicker than these destroyers, which is interesting. But yeah, right now 3 destroyers seems like it's gonna be enough to actually fend off against this kind of defense. Level 5 Panda, but honestly it doesn't matter too much, as Breath of Fire does not actually do any damage to those destroyers whatsoever. +1/+1 on upgrades, which is interesting. Crypt Fiend is gonna get ensnare trapped here and quickly taken down. Troll Berserker Mercenary is going to be hired up as well, because honestly FoCuS is desperate in trying to just get any sort of semblance of an army down. Death Coil able to heal up that destroyer once again. That is going to be oh, he actually has one more Death Coil available in him thanks to that Pendant of Energy. Pendant of Mana, actually, it's a better Pendant of Energy. Frost Nova onto the Panda there, and Invuln is going to be chugged right away. But once that is over, I imagine that a Death Coil would be heading over to that Panda's face. Death Knight is being ensnare trapped here, and FoCuS fired by the Blade Master, who will seemingly be able to get that Death Knight kill down, so very nicely done. It might be enough to actually push away this undead attack here. Zeppelin is going to be taken down. Dark Ranger level 1 is a very juicy target for that Blade Master, but for now, Still have to be aware of those destroyers in the air. I mean, army supply is kind of even for both sides, and we do have 3 raiders out on the field, so trying to take down that statue, but honestly the destroyers being uncontested whatsoever will be able to slowly whittle away against those raiders. Blade Master coming back once again. He does have Healing Scroll, he could use it at a critical time. Invuln is going to be popped. It seems like he did use that Healing Scroll. He didn't actually notice it, but yeah, it just might be enough healing to actually take down that Lich for once, and it will actually happen. Level 5 onto that Blade Master. Panda is also very close to level 6 as well. He's at a full mana bar. Once he hits that level 6, he can go Storm, Earth, and Fire immediately, but that is only if he is able to survive for now. Seems like he will be able to do that as this attack's still going on. Peon's trying to repair this Great Hole as best as possible. Army supply is 33 for Infi and 34 for FoCuS. Just continuing to train up those raiders there as the Death Knight just hits level 6. For now it seems like the point might be placed into Raised Dead, as the Unholy Ore is still at level 2. And honestly, there are a couple of corpses that he can use right now. Ensnare onto the Death Knight there. He does have a TP Scroll just in case. A Chain Ensnare onto the DK. Blade Master trying his best to go at it. Panda is going to hit 6 and could potentially Storm Earth and Fire. Death Coil, he is going to Storm Earth and Fire right now to negate that burst damage, and here we go. Is that going to be enough to turn the tables around? Death Knight, I mean, he can't really afford to spend any mana on his ultimate ability, is going to be forced to TP back, but he TP'd too late as a very, very lucky crit is able to finish the job on that Dark Ranger who died at level 2. Altar of Darkness is very close to reviving the Lich very soon. It seems like the buildings are being unsummoned. Infi is in a bad position right now because he did not expand. That means he is forced to go all in, just trying to make as many units as possible before going for one final attack, and if it doesn't work he will be forced to GG, which it seems like it's gonna happen because his opponent FoCuS is still mining off of one base. But right now if Infi attacks he could get a good amount of damage and potentially win the game. He has 5 supply ahead. And the Panda right now is very low on health, so he needs to choose his time as quickly as he needs to go right now before his opponent actually makes more units to catch up in supply.
We're under attack.
Level 5.5 for the Blade Master. It seems like Acolytes might be skewing the numbers here, but we will have to wait and see. As one final attack here from Infi. Breath of Fire is just going to make quick work out of those Acolytes, and the supply actually equalizes. Panda is going to be microed away back to safety. Meanwhile, Statue is going to be picked up in exchange for a Raider, it seems. Still even supply-ish, both players. Peons are being brought over, and for one final defense, Death Coil able to do a huge amount of damage to that Panda. Not very easy to actually heal him back up, but also very difficult for the Blade Master to actually do anything himself. Is at half health. Death Knight Lich does have enough mana for one Nova Coil combo, and that would most likely be a dead Orc hero, just one. But if it hits the Blade Master, that would be probably better than the Panda. As the Peons are just going to be sacked. FoCuS not going in just yet. He is waiting for 2 more of his Raiders and might go for the final defense here. Here we go. The FoCuS Fire is important. It is going to go straight after that Death Knight. He needs those Lucky Purge procs there to go after the Death Knight, but the Panda gets Death Coiled straight to death. And the Blade Master, oh, he is going to invuln way too late. Even if he takes down that DK, the destroyers can just clean it up afterwards. So that is going to be game. Infi able to take down FoCuS. Not many times you see Undead win late game against an Orc. But yeah, I was able to make it work. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys again next time.